Hello everyone, so I'm about to go live with my work in about 5 minutes, which is why I'm wearing this shirt. I will link the video below because by the time you guys see this, it will already have happened. But anyway, regardless, I want to get this in really quickly. One of the things I want to do for this year is be more consistent with my videos instead of just randomly doing them here and there, which is what I typically do. So every single week I'm going to do Thursday reads, which I know that typically Friday reads are a thing. No, friends. Like, my weekend kind of starts Thursday. Okay, it doesn't start on Thursday. My mental state starts on Thursday for the weekend. So when I get home Thursday night, I like to just reset my apartment, get everything cleaned, get all my work done, anything I haven't done in the week. I also typically get a massage every single Thursday. That's another way to be like, oh, welcome in the weekend. And then you just have one more day of work and then the weekend is here. So what I want to do every Thursday is basically show you what did I read that week and what do I plan to read for the week ahead. So starting with what I read, it's only one book this week, which is fine. I think that this year I might try and read more slowly and just really savor books and allow them to go slowly enough where they can actually change my life. And this one that I read is Thick and Other Essays by Dr. Tressie McMillan Codum. This was amazing. I will link other videos below in which I talked about it because I never did a full review of it, but I have talked about it a couple of times already. So I thought for this video, I would just quickly talk about the parts I haven't talked about. And one of the things that's on my mind, you guys know I'm doing a no-buy year, trying to save up a huge emergency fund. And then after that, I will be like saving for like a house or a condo or something. No rush, who knows? But that kind of puts me in the mindset where I can try and finally think about like, where do I want to live? And so I'm thinking about where I live now, which is absolutely amazing. I love it so much because of its diversity and all these things. The downtown area is incredible, but it is like on the fast path to gentrification so bad. And so then there's other areas I thought of that would be really nice because of the amazing parks that we have access to. And like, again, kind of ties into what the author is saying when she talks about neighborhoods and where people live. So she talks about what's called opportunity hoarding. And again, these are ideas I've thought of before, but I feel like she really put them into words that allowed me to be like, oh, yes. Okay. Basically, what it looks like is white parents use their economic privilege to purchase homes in communities that have benefited from generations of white privilege. So people always want to be in a good school district. They want to have access to restaurants and parks and, you know, all sorts of stuff like that. But then you're choosing a neighborhood that basically has benefited by, like she said, decades of white privilege. And then you move there and you're still white. And then you put your money in there and it just like keeps going and going and going on this never ending cycle. And yeah, I think that made me reflect on like, where do I want to live? Because like where I live now is probably the most diverse area that I'm thinking about, but still it's gentrified and we're like if I move to where I would want to move to, then I'm in a gentrified area and I'm just pushing people out with my whiteness. Anyway, oh my gosh. She also talks about how white families purchase access to public schools and how they become more like private schools just because of the population of parents that's there, constantly advocating for their kids, making sure that their kids have the best education, volunteering, whatever. They make this already well-funded public school work like a private school for their child. Finally, the last thing I'll say with this level of comfort that people are wanting, she talks about racism and how like people are like, oh no, like I love everybody is just human, made by God, blah blah blah. What they really want is this level of comfort of people being the same as them. And basically it says it poses that ending blackness was the goal of anti-racist work, when the real goal has always been and should always be ending whiteness. This actually is definitely on my list of favorite books for the year, even though I already made that video. So let's move on to what I'm reading this week. I will probably finish this in the next couple days. I got this from the library. You were born for this. And then I had to buy it because at the time you're watching this, I'm not yet, and I know by year. But I was scribbling all over it. This is basically on astrology, which I have been getting into lately, because basically what I thought astrology was is just reading magazines where it says like Taurus, which is my sun sign, and it tells you about your life. I just thought it was so stupid because there is no way that everyone who's born in May can be exactly like me. Like, that is just stupid. You would have 12 types of people, you know? And so now I'm learning more and more about it, and it's almost like a very, very elaborate personality tool. Like, we really like Enneagrams and the Myers-Briggs and like all this stuff, but like this is actually more detailed than that. And I loved the way she started it. Like, this is my favorite book on it for sure, just because I felt so connected to her. So I'm gonna read the first little section, and it's a bit long, but it's powerful. The first time I encountered astrology was the first time I remember feeling seen. I was 8 years old, living in a small town, snuggled at the base of the Rockies. I was surrounded by both the immeasurable beauty of nature and the unforgiving wreckage of addiction. I spent a lot of my childhood alone, while the adults in my life partied and self-destructed with wanton abandon. I watched The Cosby Show and dreamed of a life with parents, siblings, grandparents, and a lineage to claim me. When the party came home, I felt a different kind of loneliness. An overdose, a fatal accident, a shotgun fired, a conviction. I knew what cocaine tasted like by the time I was 5. I was terrified all the time, so I hid. I hid in any bathroom with a lock on the door. I hid inside a self-constructed personality that was aloof, sarcastic, and remote. I hid to protect my excruciatingly sensitive and porous being from the sharp edges of adult sorrows that swallowed my childhood. So I think my childhood was less intense than hers, but it definitely had a lot of trauma in it. And I just felt so connected. I really appreciate when people share stuff like that that's super personal. I feel like it makes them seem more human to me, and I was able to connect to her before reading what she has to say about astrology. So I thought that was super amazing. I also appreciated like kind of her introduction to it. Basically, like, you need to not give it too much power. Like, it does not dictate your life. It's not telling the future, you know, it's a guide. But at the same time, she says, I promise to never underestimate the wisdom that is woven into my chart, because it does have a lot of stuff in there that later in the book she talks about. Like, you will have access to it when you need to have access to it. You might not be able to get everything in your chart right at the moment you first look at it, because you don't need that information yet. It's too much. And then she says, I promise to leave room for learning, unlearning, and relearning. So yesterday I took loads of notes on my sun sign, and a lot of the stuff I wrote down possibly could be incorrect or need to be rethought in the future, but it is what it is for right now. And then she has a reading checklist, just trying to guide you through this book slowly. She says you need your chart, check, pen, paper, highlighters, your journal, and then she includes water and snacks, which makes me love her so much. So anyway, she basically walks you through all the different parts, which I had heard of before but didn't really understand how to pair together, because I know there's planets, I know there's houses, I know there's relationships, and I just never understood how to put it together. So she helps you first with your sun, then with your moon, and then finally with your ascendant. So anyway, so I'm just working through that. I did my sun. Today I'm going to do my moon. The next day I'll probably do my rising sign, and then later I'll go back and journal all the journal prompts that are associated with each of them. But I'm just doing it in my bullet journal, and yeah, it's been amazing. Like, yesterday I didn't go to yoga because I just wanted to like think about this. Okay, now that book will be finished super soon. The book I'm reading right now is The Way of All Flesh by Ambrose Parry. This is like a Victorian sort of mystery set in Edinburgh, And yeah, it's basically like this doctor all of a sudden starts finding like bodies everywhere in the city and is trying to figure out what the heck is going on. I'm not very far at all into it. I'm on page 13, but this is a book that I hope to finish this week as well. So these two for sure. And then finally, oh my gosh, you guys, now that's what I call summer. A readathon is starting on the 1st. So my first book for that is going to be the same as Heather's, basically. She is starting with the Endless Summer book on her list. And I was just looking through mine and I'm like, yeah, actually that's the one I want to read too. Different book, but same prompt. So I want to start by reading The Interestings. This has the best cover. Basically, I think it's about a bunch of kids that go to like a rich summer camp sort of experience. And then I think it follows them through the rest of their lives. So yeah, I think it'll be really good. So anyway, that is what I read this week, what I am going to get to. I'm curious what you guys are reading this week, and I will see you soon.